All right, what's good, guys? Welcome to our PM live trading session. This is New York stock market open. This is our Qs and so I'm looking at GMN40, I'm looking at US30, and I'm looking for sales just in line with the 4 hour trend. So I'm just going to keep it simple here since I already have the trend. I've got a nice week forming here. I'm just going to use ORB confirmations for sales on both assets. So let's see the opening range candle. So M15 looking good on both assets. Okay, we're just going to wait for the first 5 minute candle. Mark the highs and the lows. So this is just my use of ORB. I'll try to use the M5 and M15 ORB, and I'll show you guys how I use it to confirm my trades. So this here was the morning opening range on the M15. You can see price retested it. So let's see what's going to happen now. Let's see what's happening with German 40. So German 40 has got this setup which is playing from the morning. What I simply want to see if we're going to get a continuation. So let's see what they do. We are almost close to where that morning session completes. So if we do get a break, we might get a zone flip and price might be going all the way to 24,000 as well. So just keep an eye on that previous day low. Okay, I'll try to mark the ORB zones of the other assets. Then we'll just take it from there. So what ORB does for me, the way I say I use it for confirmation, it allows me to be patient. So instead of just jumping into a trade and saying I'm selling, you can see right now price actually pushed way up. It gives me that or it allows me the privilege of confirming my actual setup. So if I'm selling and we get a nice ORB and we break to the bottom, then that just confirms my bias. If price does something else based on what I would have planned, then I reassess the whole setup. So I've got like a grace period of at least 10 to 15 minutes after the stock market opens for me to actually adjust my setup and adjust my trade. So let's see what happens here. Right, so let's just scroll through the other assets. Let's see what's going on. GU already gave his own flip. We could get a continuation here. Oh, the other thing is the monthly candle is closing. So GU looks like it's coming to this external range, guys. What do you think? The external liquidity, sorry, not range. What do you guys think about GU? I'd love to know what you think. I feel like this sells, we've got nice momentum. We'll most likely continue pushing into this zone here. So coming back to M5, if I can get a reason to sell, I think I'll definitely consider a sell right there. So this is the initial London low, which is also a point of interest for today. Okay, so the first 5 minutes is done. We mark the high. And we mark the low. Also, it's basically the low and the high. then we wait. So I'm just going to do it first on the assets which I'm mainly looking at. Right, we wait. So I'm just going to do it for I threw UJ here. I wanted to trade it in the morning, but I ended up not trading. It's been strongly bullish. Zone flip happened in the morning. Not that I would trade it. I just want to mark just to see how price is going to play out. So this ORB confirmation, it works based on like your volatile assets. Even on crypto, you can still use it. But remember, you still need to have a bias. Once you have a bias, then it becomes easier to use this opening range candle to confirm your bias. Okay. If we get a break here, we could get a sell, but I'll also, yeah, I believe gold has been selling. So, okay, let's check what's happening with my main assets. So here I'll be paying attention to the M15 candle on MT5. Pay attention to the M15 candle because I can also use the M15 ORB. So at this point, you will see that we're finding support on 44,500. Could price push all the way to 45,000? It's a possibility, but right now unconfirmed. So let's see, let's see. Okay, I had this point of interest coming from the London session. I'll show it to you. It's coming from H4. And here I had this zone also coming from the H4. So let's see how price is going to act on those areas. In the meantime, we'll just be checking which asset is breaking out. Okay, so here's the thing. We've got German 40 breaking out to the top, but my bias is bearish. So now I look for any areas where I feel like price is coming to take out some minor liquidity. So they could be coming to take out this liquidity here. They could come as high as this level. They can still come back to the previous day's high, retest, and still drop. So all these areas I just have to pay attention to them when I'm trading so that once my bias lines up with what price is doing, then I take the trade. So I cannot buy for now because my bias is not yet bullish, but I can sell. So if price reacts here, I can take the sell, but I'll prefer selling below the opening range as well. That's the safest part. Let's see what's happening with Nasdaq. Coming back into yesterday's range. Okay, I would love to see how M15 is looking. Okay. Price action is not so cool, but most likely if we stay below this high from yesterday, price can potentially drop all the way to yesterday's low. That's a possible play right there. So I'm going to be open to taking trades on Nasdaq. The only thing I need, of course, for me to sell is a break of the opening range to confirm that we are selling. Then I'll show you my entry criterias. So the next M15 is closed. German 40, we're still in the range, in the opening range, US30. Okay, looks like we are getting motion to the downside. Right, let's just check how M15 is looking. Okay, M15 is looking like it can be a nice pin bar. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong asset. Oh my God, I was looking to the right. Okay, we already have a nice candle here. So US30, I think I'm gonna go with shorts. Same applies to German 40. So let's get our trade ready. Okay, M5. Okay, so this is the candlestick breaking the opening range. So soon as it closes, I'd love, so for this particular example, my stop loss might be a bit too far. So I might just put it, let's say halfway of my opening range. So what I want to see is this current candle closing below our opening range, then a follow through candle will be the entry trigger, and we are risking 1% of this particular prop firm account to make two. So that you can see a visual of the setup, I need this candle to close below this opening range. Then my stop loss is going to be like this. So on this particular trade, we're mainly aiming for the previous day's lows on US30. That's if this candle closes bearish. So you can see this ORB confirmation. The way I use it to confirm rather my setups, it allows me enough time to assess what's really going on soon as the equities market opens. Okay, this one is breaking out already, so that's German 40. Right, can we go down to 21,000? Sorry, to 20,000, not 21,000. A 1:2 is almost impossible, but let's see where this candle closes. Then we are going to try to look for a 1:2 RR. So between the two, I'll take one. Between these two assets, I'll have to take one, not both of them. So on US30, I might be a little skeptical since we are on 44,500, but if we can break it nicely, then I'll take it. Then on German 40, we still have room to go to 24,000, which is the next quarter point or the next whole number. So German 40 might be the lucky one here. But let's see what happens. Okay, let me get my platform ready. If I'm going to execute this one, my stop loss has to be outside this last week. I'm not sure if we're going to get to 1:2. Okay, depending with the entry, let's see. Let's see if it's going to give us the entry I want to see. All right, so for us to sell, we want a close below opening range. We also want price to break the previous day's low. Confirm that it's a zone flip, then price to melt. So if anyone took the morning session, you can see the morning session was a success. 1:2 right on the T. and New York session, we started here. So let's see what price wants to give us. Okay, I'm just going to mark all the ORBs like I said. So that later we can just check if maybe we marked something and we missed. Okay, I'm going to take US100 on my phone. It's got a nice setup just like we had planned. Okay, unfortunately, the account I trade here is on my phone, US100. Okay, this account. Okay, I'm going to go with a 3% risk. Okay, it's taking me time to get to my chart. Let me lower my risk a little bit. Let's see. Okay, so my setup is looking like this. Stop loss is above yesterday's high, and we are aiming for the other side. So normally our 1:2 is going to reach somewhere here. Okay, this is how my setup on Nasdaq is looking like. Let's see how price acts. Okay, I've got a 1% risk, and I'm going to add 2% soon as I confirm that we are actually pushing down. So what I want to see right now is price can still come back here. So this stop might be tight, but I'm thinking I might leave it here because the first trade is already in. Then I'll just adjust accordingly. We might come slightly inside, but as long as we can maintain staying outside this range, then I'm going to add 2% on this risk or on this trade, and I'll be aiming for previous day's low as a target. So that's done for now. Right, German 40, we got that close. I'm going to use a sell stop because yesterday I missed a trade by not using the sell stop. Okay, so a break of this candle. Okay, sell stop on German 40. My TP, if you notice, is slightly below 24,000. So if price gets to 24K, I'll just figure out if I have to close it there or if I can hold. I'll just see. That's if it triggers also. So we're just going to keep an eye on it. So we've got a sell stop there. US30 is still in the range. Nasdaq is active. We have one position. So let's just monitor this and see how it goes. I feel like Nasdaq trading against the trend. But let's see if we can remain below the previous days. high, that would be perfect. It will simply mean we are trading back in yesterday's range and the sell will happen. But now what will happen is if we come back above the previous day's high and we break out of the opening range, then this will definitely be a buy because the trend is already bullish. So I might have been slightly early to sell here because I sold on the premise that this candle was going to do this, then maybe retrace and do this. But let's see what happens. Gold broke out to the bottom side, which means the setup is looking like this. No, for me, anyways, the setup is looking like this. Okay, it would actually have triggered here. All right, so I trade gold on the other account, which is here. So let's get the gold trade ready. So each account trades a certain asset, also a prop firm account. Okay, so this was our opening range candle. This is the one which broke out. So our sell is at the breakout of the breaker, which is where price currently is. Then our stop loss is just above the candlestick which broke. And our TP is 2%. Just do. Okay, so gold is active. Just entered it here. Gold is active. GU breaking to the downside. German 40 is lingering on the previous day's low. You can see we found support here, so we actually have to break it and trigger our sell stop. Right, Nasdaq might take us out, but let's see how they act on the previous day's lows. Oh, we ignored this. We ignored this. All right. If you notice, US 500 is finding support right on the previous day's lows. Bullish. Okay, all right, all right, all right. We might have been a little bit too early on taking the Nasdaq trade. I've got a funny feeling it's going to buy, being a continuation. But let's see, let's see, let's see, let's see. Let's jump the horse. Um, jump the gun, whatever the phrase is. All right, so Nasdaq buys will be outside here. Let's see how they respect this is going to help us figure out which is which makes me a little bit skeptical about the sells on German 40 because German 40 can now trade back up into the previous day's high because they fulfilled this range from previous day's high to the previous day's low, so they could now retrace. So we don't want our entry to be triggered and then be taken out. The sell stop we have on the other account on German 40. So let's see. I'm thinking maybe let's remove it for now. Okay, you can see we still have the pending orders right here. So I'm going to remove it for now, although I'm still maintaining that trade idea. So if I see it panning out, let me actually use an alert. If I see it panning out, then what I'll do is, or if I get this alert, I'll still execute manually. Right, so this way we don't have to keep paying attention to it. Previous days high. Okay, US30 gave us a break on the other side, and that could mean that we are taking a buy, coming back to the previous day's high. So let me see which account do I take this trade. Okay, the account I take that particular trade is also on the phone, so let's do this. Okay, so the Nasdaq one is still running almost on the stop loss. We are going to execute longs on the other account. Okay, our longs are active. Stop loss is in place. If both or if all of our trades don't play out, then it will simply mean the markets are sort of ugly since it's also pre-NFP afternoon. So that'll be the end of our trading session, and we'll come back to the charts and trade tomorrow after NFP. All right, so US30 is running, gold is running, Nasdaq, let's see if it's still running. It's almost on the SL. Let's see, almost, yeah, still running as well. So I think, yeah, those will be our only trades this afternoon. German 40, let's see. Let's see what they do. All right, let's see how it goes. Nasdaq is dangling close to our stop loss. German 40 sideways. US30 is going well so far. All right, let's see what happens, guys. Let's see what happens. All right, so Bitcoin broke out of the range, so the setup would have been looking more or less like this. So you want to break out outside, stop loss below this last weeks or pins you see, and 1:2 target, or basically aim for the previous day's high, or aim for these highs, which is where they go to, took out liquidity, now they're retracing. So if price gets here, at least your stop loss needs to be at break even if you are monitoring the trades like I'm doing. Chairman 40 wants to come to the party. Okay, I'm going to get ready for German 40, guys. Okay, that's our alert telling us that German 40 is all sorts of ready. And if we get the candles, we want to see which is exactly what we are seeing. Okay, stop loss here. One is to two. All right, let's see what happens. If you notice, our TP is also back where we want it. The trades look like they want to humble us today. Maybe we should have waited for a close again here. Okay, I'm not taking any more trade after this because if I do, then I will be all up in my emotions. So this account currently has got one loss, one break even. And if today's trade is a loss, then we're going to be having two losses. So it will be down 2%. And I think it will be done for the week. We'll only resume trading it next week. But if it plays well also, then we will have one win here, which means we would have recovered this loss. So I could also be happy with taking 1% if it plays out, just to recover this loss and start the fresh week, which is next week on a fresh slate. Tomorrow we won't trade it. So that's the plan with this account. US30 still wants to take us out, and same applies to US100. US100 wants to take us out, and US30 is simply doing the same, almost on our stop loss because stop loss is right below the breaker. What's that? US30 hit our stop loss. US30 hit our stop loss. So that's a 1% loss on a 15K prop account. That's on my mobile phone. What's the other one? Nasdaq is still running. And German 40 is also still running. So we are left with Nasdaq and German 40 and gold. So let's see how they go. If gold gets to these, I think these are London lows, the current London lows, I will consider scaling out at that point. If we get here, I'll consider scaling out on gold. Not getting the volume which I usually like to see at the New York Open. I'm not getting it on German 40, which means if they can come back to break even, I'll cross out this trade. These ones are still running US 100 and gold. Gold has got some motion, although it's not also as much as I'd love to see. Let me see what's happening with the. See, US30 back inside our opening range. So, oh, we also found resistance on the London session range. So the best way to approach this probably would have to wait for price to close above the morning ORB for us to take buys. This looks like a liquidity sweep imbalance. If we get this, we could get a short trade here coming back down to the bottom of the ORB. Just a quick scalp to almost be 100 points, so it could be worth it. So that we don't confuse ourselves, let's remove these. Let's see what happens. Right, so German 40 would just prefer walking away with the break even here. For now, I'm stoking US30. Nasdaq. You see the way they are being held by the previous day's high. Do you see this? Kind of shows the importance of these levels. Yes, we might break out, but you can see the importance of that price level or the importance of that price point right there. Pre-NFP afternoons are usually like this. Price usually is unpredictable, or it's going to go sideways, or it will be choppy. Okay, there's possibilities. I've just entered on a ZAR account, looking for a quick scalp. Let's see if German 40 took us out. Okay, not yet. We are 70 bucks away from breaking even. Okay, we are on break even. I'm going to take that 1% or that almost 1%, and I'm gonna call it a day. Account has been recovered. So this account's 3 trades taken. Trade number 1, loss. Trade number 2, break even. Trade number 3, 1:1, which is a win in my books, almost 1%. So I'll just hold that 1%, and I'll actually be happy with it for a trade which almost took us out. So I'll be happy to take that. I'll be happy to take that 1%. So this is how the US30 trade is looking like. Pushed halfway, came back up. Looks like they want to push up now. So yeah, if you're trading in the NFP week, be prepared for price action, which is ugly like this. And I'll just prefer, or I would suggest you not to trade. NFP week, Thursday, pre-NFP, rather don't trade. Trade on the Friday, the NFP day after NFP. That's the best day or the best time to trade. Gold almost went halfway. Let's see how it's looking. We're going to take 1% on gold as well, guys. This is the trade. It's almost on 1%, almost on 150. You can see the trade running. And or should we break even? Which is which? Let me see how much are we on. Okay, I'll take the 1% on gold as well, considering the fact that it's pre-NFP, literally anything could happen, and I'll be happy to take 1% from this setup. We almost as well to this low, which we had marked, the London lows, so I'll just take my profits there. And we also managed to take 1% from German 40. US30, it's also giving us something. I'm scalping on a small ZAR account on my phone. Just want to grab money for a pizza or for dinner or something. Let's see if it's going to give me what I want. But if we can just get here, that'll be perfect. Right on this low here, that'll be perfect right here. That'll be a success for me. And the Nas, oh shit, I just moved this. Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay. Sorry, guys. Let me put it back where it was. Okay, Nasdaq is starting to show us something now. Okay, it was right here. Nasdaq is starting to show us something. The entry is coming back to break even. I'm just gonna, I don't want to turn on my camera. I just wanted to show you guys this trade which is running on my phone on the small ZAR account. It's actually blue and I'm about to close it. So the only trade remaining now is the Nasdaq trade, which is still running at a loss. Let's see if I'm going to be able to just wait for it to turn blue so that I can end this session. All right, so that pizza money, that dinner money is secured on the phone. All right, so it's only Nasdaq, my Nasdaq trade today, which is still negative, still running in about 0.25% of loss right now. So let's just do a quick recap of everything else. If we had taken GU trade based on the ORB confirmation, the GU trade would have hit a stop loss. But then what the ORB allows you to do is if you see price simply breaking on the other side of the range, you can simply then readjust, or you can simply then re-enter the trade with the correct bias or with the correct view based on what price will be showing you. So then you could have recovered your loss. German 40, we managed to take 1%. This was the London session setup. This is the New York session setup. And we got to halfway. We took 1% of that trade. Nasdaq currently running at a loss. And I think I'll just let it be. If it comes back maybe to break even, I'll close it at break even. But if it also closes being a loss, I'm also okay with that. US 500, we wouldn't have executed anything here. US 30, we sort of scalped something small here based off this drop you see right here. This little setup you see inside this opening range. So again, you can also see our normal setup is basically not available here. We're just trading, or rather we took this trade based off the opening range. They took out the bottom side, took out the top side, respected the London opening range, came back into this afternoon's range. So I was just looking for a continuation down. So I managed to scalp this. This is also still possible, but I'm already done with it, and I don't think I'll chase it since it's also pre-NFP Thursday. Then gold, we also took 1%. This was our setup. Um, if you notice, like I say, there's that volume which you usually see on the other days is not there. So I just decided to also take 1%. It was a 1:2 RRR, and we were going to be aiming for this London low, but we closed our trade somewhere in here at the halfway mark. So all our good trades today, we closed them at the halfway mark. And I think we're happy with that since it's pre-NFP afternoon. We do not want to be chasing the markets or chasing price. So we'll just leave our charts on the Nasdaq trade. Soon as it gets to break even, we're going to close this trade. I'll just see if my price is showing me that there's a potential that it might trickle down. I might leave it, but high chances I'll just close it at break even. Then we are going to resume our trading tomorrow after NFP. So if you watched until the end, thank you so much. Let me know what you picked up from this video. This was basically just me. Uh, that's how my trading session goes. So if we are trading together in a live trading room, this is how I get to share my ideas. You get to see my thoughts and my thought process and emotions. If they kick in, you can also see them kicking in because at the end of the day, I'm also human. But basically, this is how we trade. So if you want to join us for our August mentorship, please let me know. Just DM on the comment section. Just write DM or something. Or join I believe there's a link in the description which will take you straight to the WhatsApp community. Then you can just let me know if you want to join the paid mentorship for the month of August starting tomorrow. So today is July 31st, 2025. Tomorrow is August 1st. So yeah, let's get it. Thank you so much for watching until the end. Nasdaq, like I said, I'll just close it here at break even. So it will still be a slow but productive afternoon for us. If you watched until the end, enjoy the rest of your day. Good trading.